Well, there's an even mix of tight games and absolute shellackings. LOYG is back, and we should take a look at it. Yes, it's What's the Go? Look at League. Stu here. Hello. Thanks for coming back. Dave, you're there. Hello, mate.
Hi, I'm here.
And Ben, you are also here. Hello, friend.
Hello, gentlemen. Lovely to be here again.
Sounding smooth and lovely. Everyone sounding nice. Listen, there's a lot of news going on at the moment in the world of rugby league. Can we talk about it?
Hit us with some news, Stu.
Reports that Dylan Brown has finally accepted that $13 million 10-year deal. Parramatta released a statement Monday night, and Brownie's put a thing up on his Instagram.
Does it say, I have to sign this thing as quick as I can so we don't have another half of football as bad as round one first half before it disappears?
Probably should, eh? Do you reckon he's going umming and ahhing, I've got till round 10 to decide, and then he'll play that game against the Storm and he goes, fucking hell.
I've got till 10 minutes into this game to decide.
Instagram story reads, hello everyone. I've decided to take an opportunity that is best for me and my family. To the blue and gold family, nothing changes. I'm locked in for this year and we have a job to do. Love. So there you go. Who wants a tap a take? You want a tap a take from your old mate Stu?
Oh, please.
Are the Knights offering this because they're resigned to the fact that Ponga's not going to be around for that long?
Well, how could you manage a cap that's got the two highest deals per season in one team when neither of them are, I don't know, turbo-like players, I wouldn't say.
Manly are the only other team that do it with Turbo and DCE, I think.
Yeah.
And you could argue that both those guys are premiership level.
Yes.
Ponga's probably
100%.
premiership level, but is Dylan Brown.
That was actually going to be one of my points for a little bit later, but those two, like a DCE and Turbo together in the Manly Cowboys game was just incredible.
Electric.
Yeah.
Like you look at that and you go, well, yeah, there's where the money goes. And if those two could stay on the field, then they are a chance. Like they are a real chance.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whereas the Knights, well, the Knights aren't.
Oh, my position hasn't changed. I still think it's the stupidest thing I've heard. But who knows? In 10 years' time, I'll come back to this episode and say, hey, everyone, maybe I was wrong. When the Knights won
worse
6
than
premierships
the Taumalolo contract.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was going to ask. Because I would say Taumalolo at the start of that big-ass deal was a much more influential and better player than Dylan Brown is. But
100%, Dave. I could not agree with you anymore.
But the way that he played wore out his body way too quick.
I don't understand how forward, back, whatever, anything more than a maybe 4 or 5 year deal makes any financial sense whatsoever. I just don't understand. So many things can change. Anyway, we're not going to spend the time me trying to wrap my head around this stupid deal, even though it annoys the shit
We
out.
got 10 years to do that.
Got 10 years to work this out. That's absolutely right. Domestic violence charges dropped against Talon May, freeing him up to join an NRL club immediately if an offer were to come. And, you know, you've had Terrell talking about wanting to play with his brothers. That's all. Justin Olam's getting medically retired. Apparently, things line up a bit there with the Tigers, don't they?
It has to be. Surely no one's taking any bets on that signing anymore.
Well, where else? Where else in NRL? Super League maybe, but NRL, the only team would be the Tigers, I would think, because of the brother connection.
Well, also, how does it work?
And the desperation.
How does it work with market value? If he's released by Panthers, does whoever offer him the next contract need to meet the market value at the time he was released, or
I don't know what happened with Matt Lodge the 5 times a similar thing happened.
right.
It's a really good question. Like, are there rules in place?
Maybe not. Maybe it's only if you're
Well, he was released, so his contract was
yeah
basically torn up, right?
So I think it's
It was
only
paid out.
if you're going from one club to another and the first club's trying to keep you, then the second club has to at least have market value to get you. Anyway, a problem that won't be facing the Sharks because Big Tom Hazelton has signed on again until the end of 2028.
Are you boys happy as Sharks fans?
How could he go anywhere else? It wouldn't look right. Big tall timber in weird different colours.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. I think that he's outstanding as a reserve forward.
And standing out.
Indeed.
Because he's very tall.
And bald.
Yeah. You relate?
Indeed, I do.
As the Francis Molo situation drags on, Michael Molo looks like he might be set to leave the Dragons also. They're going to be completely Molo-less over there.
What about a Tinamolo?
When are the Tigers going to sign both the Molo brothers?
Nothing but brothers in the Tigers, you reckon, at some
That's
point.
right. We've got the Gold Coast fullbacks. We've got the Tiger brothers.
Yeah, Tiger Brothers.
Yep.
West Tiger Brothers, yeah. Are there any others going around? Oh, Travojeviches will be next on the hit list, won't they?
Well, maybe they could all go up to Queensland and play for brothers.
Nice. There we go.
Yes, good one.
Super League looks like where Michael Molo will end up. I don't know that there's much happening in NRL side for him, but those Molos have got the shits with the Dragons, that's for sure.
Yeah, leave without pay.
Yeah.
What?
NRL will no longer put Graham Annesley up for his Monday night conferences to talk about refereeing decisions over the weekend. That's dropped on Monday night. So the thought is that maybe it's not a great look.
Shining a massive spotlight on mistakes?
That and just someone sitting there taking curry from reporters for an hour for, shit that happens on the field when, we all know. Mistakes happen. It's a very high stress, fast-paced environment. Things aren't going to go exactly as they're meant to all the time. And I don't know that there's much utility. Someone sitting there going for an hour every week, they're humans. Sorry.
Maybe he could just record that and we could play that
Every
Monday evening. And then that's fine. Then, that's Graham's 3 minutes.
Yeah. It just seemed to be like box ticking kind of thing. Yes, I agree that decision was bad. No, that decision was fine. And journos can run off and have something else to write.
The questionable decisions that were debated on social media over the weekend, when Annesley came out and said, yep, we got that one right. No, we got that one wrong. What did it change?
Yeah.
How did that help the NRL in any way?
I don't think it helped
Other
the
than-
NRL. I think it helped punters go, yeah, see, right? We were robbed. Yeah.
So it just helped the discourse. That's what you're saying, Stu.
Yeah. Dan Ganainshaw will never say the word mucking in a broadcast ever again.
Well, I hope he does.
And there's another inappropriately placed whistle.
Yeah.
Just to...
Yeah, so Dan Ganane on the Fox NRL coverage over the weekend said something about mucking up a try, which sounded a lot like fucking up a try, and there was all sorts of hoo-ha.
I think it was great.
It feels like...
I think it was great.
It felt like it was appropriate because the Knights really did nearly muck up that game.
Do you ever wonder, like, what have we not got enough to worry about in this game that that stuff like this is taking up headlines?
Well, maybe Dan Ganane confront the media on a Monday night in place of Graham Annesley. Well, we really mucked up that call, and we really mucked up that call.
Yeah. So instead of just sitting there going, yes, that was wrong, no, that was right, it was muck or fuck. Dan Ganane's muck or fuck on a Monday night with all the decisions.
I'm in for that. I would be sitting here right now watching that
Nick Politis and Mark Boris accused of intimidating a volunteer referee at the Las Vegas Nines. First of all, what? Las Vegas Nines? The referee was meant to be a touch judge at the USA-Greece international match to be played before the NRL Vegas games, but got removed from duty. And he thinks it's because Politis and Boris put pressure on them to take him off the game. That's power, isn't it? Eh?
Yeah, but it feels like a angry parent yelling at a referee to under sixes game.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
know.
it's got shades of that.
It does, very much. Pushing a volunteer ref out at some weird Nines tournament around because you didn't like how he reffed is not... It's not classy. Let's put it that way.
No.
Particularly from classy men like Politis and Boris, who wear very nice suits and
They do.
have a lot of influence. And Jared Haynes suggests an NRL comeback would be a fairy tale as he signs up with the Wentworthville Magpies to play Ron Massey Cup. What fairy tale would that be exactly, do you think? Because I'm playing NRL before Jared Haynes is, I reckon.
I'm definitely coming to watch that.
I'm 46, but I think he ran 5 meters in that Gold Coast, again, weird Nines tournaments, Gold Coast Nines tournament. I think he ran 5 meters and his hammy exploded. I can run 6 at least.
And what, before your hammies explode or just before you explode?
Oh, before I lose my breakfast and start falling over and not being able to stand up.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think Jared Hayne is going to turn into a pumpkin.
Right, that's the fairy tale.
What does that mean? Oh, that's the fairy
That's
tale.
the fairy
Right.
tale, Dave.
Got it.
Games. We had some very big games in round 1. Spare a thought for the poor people looking after the socials for the Cowboys, Roosters and Eels. Man, that's a tough gig. Getting absolutely pounded by supporters who feel like they've been waiting for a new start, a new season, new possibilities, and then cop an absolute pasting. The socials for each team, they're obliged to post during the game with a lot of kind of graphics of what's happening, including a graphic from with the final score. And this is what people wait for if their team's been flogged, to come out with their most biting comments. So, yeah, a few on Para's final score post on Instagram. I'll drive Brown to Newcastle myself. Wasn't a bad one.
Excellent.
Yeah. Obviously, we miss Morgan Harper's defence. Thought that was a bit unfair.
Shots fired.
And how
Of all the players that didn't play well, Morgan Harper wasn't one of them this week.
poor blokes in New Zealand copping strays. This one's a bit of a deep cut. Volkman gives me 2013 Luke Kelly vibes. So how about that? Rooster socials. I mean, there was a lot of bagging of Chatty Townsend and Dom Young, and again that Terrell May release, which will go down as one of the more bizarre roster management moves of this decade. I would say, maybe second to the Knights offering Dylan Brown a $13 million deal over 10 years, which I'll probably mention once a week into eternity.
Here for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Roosters look like a team that could have done with a bit of extra starch in their forward pack, like a Terrell May and a Tupanua kind of person. Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Both of which played extremely well in round 1.
Yeah, they've been de-starched.
Tupanua was great for the Dogs.
Can we Can we just for this next little period of time? Can we just talk about how good Brisbane, Melbourne, and Manly were?
Yes.
Because I know the sides that they played against were terrible, but watching those games and seeing Walsh, as some of the decision making that he had throughout the game was questionable, but
As always.
electric.
Yeah.
Then watching Turbo play, and it was like, whoa, okay, he's probably the best fullback in the game. And then watching Pappenhausen and then just going, that was incredible. Like,
His bloody
Pappenhausen
speed,
was unbelievable.
He's
And
got
those
speed
three
back,
sides were just, those guys, those guys were the spark plug for all three of those sides, and they will be like, I can't wait to see, like Manly v Penrith, Broncos v Melbourne, and Sharks v someone good. Maybe the Raiders.
Yeah.
But that's why there was only one real quality there's a few tight games over the round, but there's only one quality contest, and that was the Sharks Panthers Vegas game.
Yeah.
And that was the week before.
Yeah. But yeah, there's only 5 or 6 quality teams, and when they play each other, it should be a good game.
So, all right, so 2 things. First, we were talking last week about whether Rab should come back. I reckon he should come back only to say the word Pappenhausen and then just leave again. He just come back.
What about Tamalolo?
In the State of Origin, he can sit in the booth the whole game, and even if he's not playing, at some point, Rab just has to say Pappenhausen, and then that's it. He can eat his Devon sandwiches and go home.
I think Channel 9 they'd jump at that opportunity, I reckon.
Yeah. Well, why not? Be a little bit abstract. I've told you before he brings Devon sandwiches every game. Rabs used to the. Have I not told you that?
It's a beautiful thought.
How did you learn that? Again, I've forgotten how you learned it.
From Phil Gould. Phil Gould was bagging him out for bringing Devon sandwiches every single week to the game on Friday night. So he'd get there, drive out to wherever it was on Friday in Sydney, and then bring his little box in with his Devon sandwiches and sit in the commentary box and he'd be singing for half time because he'd eat his Devon sandwiches at half time. So Rab sounded a bit cranky from the 30-minute mark onward. He was probably a bit on the tooth waiting for his Devon Sambos. And the second thing is, I don't know about you guys, did it feel a bit less like round 1 than it has in previous years?
That's because our teams have already played.
I just mean the type and quality of
Oh,
yeah.
Well, traditionally, your round 1, every single team's up. They've spent 4 or 5 months getting ready for this moment, so the levels of intensity and commitment to defence are normally up.
Yes.
You don't normally get any blowouts the first few weeks, let alone what we saw.
And that's because all the sides are fairly evenly rusty and have fairly evenly bad ball handling. But some teams just didn't. It struck me as quite un-round 1-ish.
Well, you look at a team like Melbourne, who obviously have their spine has been so consistent over the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And you could just see, they tore the Eels an absolute, the Eels have 4 new assholes after that first half.
Name them. Well, they're going to need to find one now that Dylan Brown's gone.
Dylan?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a theory about Melbourne being so good at the start of the year. What we were saying just now was that teams take a little while to build into a season.
Yeah.
Rust and whatnot. And combinations, rust, fitness, match fitness, all of that.
Yeah.
Melbourne seem to... We all know about the magnificent record they've got. 23 years straight now, round 1 wins.
Yes.
I think Melbourne start at full. And they maintain... They're able to... Under Craig Bellamy, they are able to maintain full.
Yeah.
The whole season. And some years, when it gets to the crunch, the finals, they don't have that gear to go up. They've just been playing on full the whole year. Right. Where other teams like the Roosters, especially under Robinson, start very slow and build into their season and then try and peak at finals.
Panthers.
This slowly?
They must have a very steep...
They're building up for finals in 2028. Roosters at the moment.
There it is.
Great point.
That's the point.
Yeah, and look, can I just give you one more socials? On the Cowboys socials, has a coach ever been sacked after round 1? That's pretty nasty. And bring back Chad Townsend, which is a stark contrast to the Roosters.
Wow.
Roosters fans. But hey...
And if you're looking at anyone, just bring Morgan Harper up as well.
Yeah.
So Chad Townsend ruined 2 teams.
Yeah, for sure.
So the Roosters lost because of Chad Townsend, and the Cows lost because they didn't have Chad Townsend.
According to Instagram, that's right. Now,
well done, Chad.
Now, just a few things to point out from our predictions for round one.
Oh, goodness.
Now, yeah, I mean, there was some good stuff and there was some bad. Dave, you picked the exact points difference between Manly and Cowboys. Do you remember that?
Indeed.
You said Manly by 30. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Yeah, we're playing Price is Right.
pretty good. None of our random ATSs got up, unfortunately. And Pappenhausen, you were close with your 3 tries, we go. Holy shit.
Well, he bombed an absolute special for Munster.
Yeah.
Trying to go for his, trying to
go for that
for
30. He
another
was
try.
trying to look after you. Yeah, so any more thoughts from the round before we shuffle on to the next bit?
No, I think there's going to be some good games this weekend, though. I'm very interested to see the fullbacks play.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
for whatever reason, they're having a bye first round and then the very last game on Sunday. That's annoying for them, surely. 6:15 on a Sunday, you got to wait to play
They'll
the
be
first
fit.
game.
They'll be fit. They'll be ready to raring.
Well, I hope they're okay. I saw a picture today. Their entire training facility is underwater.
Sorry, I meant to put that in the news bit and I forgot. But yes, they've moved down to Sydney because the water at their training facility was up to the goalposts, apparently. Up to the crossbar.
crossbar.
Yeah.
Crossbar. Far out.
Yeah. Jesus. All right. What about a Dave quiz?
We're ready.
I'll put something better in there.
I love that. That's great.
No. Something better will go in there.
Well, I've got another 3 questions for you this week, guys.
Here we go.
We're going to start off easy win. So these are all from NRL.com, all these stats.
Very good.
So you're going to have to buzz in quickest
Okay.
for this one. So the first question is, in round 1, across the full round, all 8 games, which team scored the most tries? Stu?
Well, I buzz in and now I wait a few seconds while I think about it. Have to be the Storm, wouldn't it?
Correct. Storm, 10 tries, Broncos, 9.
Yeah. Yes.
Great stuff.
Only because I remember Nick Meaney missing a few, so...
Yeah. And he scored a try and kicked all the goals, so he's... Okay, this one isn't on the quiz. This is just a
Nick Meaney.
bonus question.
Nick Meaney?
Nick Meaney?
Yeah.
Now, how many rounds does it take for the Tigers to catch up to Nick Meaney round 1?
I say Nick Meaney to that.
Correct.
Oh,
2
look,
points to Stu.
I know they missed 50 tackles, but
No, there were definite signs of
I
improvement
think
there,
they'll be all right, Nick.
especially when they get their hooker and fullback.
Yes, please.
Back.
That would help.
Can I just quickly make a point, because I did think about this earlier today and forgot to say anything. But how many blokes got burnt on the outside by pure pace over the weekend?
Oh, right.
It's not a quiz question. But
That was actually how good is footy?
how good is footy? It's a how good is footy question. Like I was watching the Storm highlights again,
Yeah.
and obviously Pappenhausen, but then that Coates break
Yeah.
Yeah.
where he's just a giraffe.
I'm concerned. Like, I don't know whether Paps...
Famously speedy.
Yeah, very.
I don't know whether Pappenhausen is as fast as he was, but I think the way his hair flicks around makes him seem like he's maybe a touch faster.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Illusion is everything, so there you go. Sorry, we were in the middle of a quiz.
We were.
Yeah.
We were.
Right, this
I
one.
don't think it's fair that Stu's on 2 points after
All right.
the.
You're on 1 point for
West
being
Tigers.
so handsome.
Thank you.
There we go. The second question is actually, the clue is to throw back to last week. So the question is, which player across the first round had the most run meters carrying the ball?
Buzz.
Yes.
But it wasn't Buzz. He's a journalist.
Yeah.
I want to see that, though.
Which player? Far out.
I want to
See,
see
he did
Buzz
my trick.
tackled by
He did
Ola
my trick.
Kawatu.
I did.
He did my trick. He buzzed and then sat there thinking about it.
I did, and I feel like it's a fullback. Oh, Edwards.
Okay. Stu, do you want to have a crack?
Run meters.
Yep.
Can I get rab stance at this one?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, on.
Oh, if only.
No.
Remember, throwback to
Oh, last week.
last week.
Oh.
Last week's pod.
What? Who did we talk about last week? Oh, so it's one of the first two games.
No, sorry. I'm the Aldi version, not the Aldi version.
Timu Jai Gray, Heath Mason.
Joe Gray.
Yeah, Jai Gray had the most run meters for the week.
Oh, right.
Wow.
There you go. How about that? Jai Gray 281, Jack Howarth 249.
I don't know.
Big Paddy Carrigan was number 3 with 242.
Jai Gray looks so good. I don't know what they do when Mitchell comes back, because
They have to keep him in the team
if he's
'cause
still
one of the
playing
best
like
13
this,
players. Yeah. But I think they've got a decent coach. He might be able to figure it out.
Mitchell and Campbell Graham
yeah.
in the centres would be fairly...
And what are you doing with Jack Whiten then? Is he going into 5'8"? I wouldn't.
Well, Jack Whiten's played fullback too. Maybe you could go a little bit Titan style and have 4 fullbacks.
Yeah. No, I think you need Jai Gray in there. So I tell you what I would do. If, maybe Cody Walker 7, Laddie Mitts at 6. With it, or Jack Whiten.
I don't mind Jack Whiten at
Yeah.
6. I think that's pretty...
And Humphreys, maybe he's 14, because he'll probably still be playing all right.
Yep.
Anyway, we keep taking over your quiz. Sorry, Dave.
No, this is great. The mentioned it earlier. The Storm have got an outstanding round 1 record. So Bellamy's 23 years. He's undefeated.
And they're going to buy
the Storm
next
win
week.
round 1 every single year. So my question to you guys is: over the last 10 years, other than the Storm, who's got a perfect 10,
Yep.
which club has the best round 1 record?
10 years.
Great question.
Well, it's got to be the Roosters or Panthers, surely.
I'll
Panthers.
give you a clue. Remember, we already said Roosters build.
Yeah, all right,
Into
that's
this
fair enough.
season.
Okay, Panthers.
No.
It's interesting. Do I get another shot? Well, if we get it and come in
Yeah,
fast.
well,
enough?
gonna need to insert thinking
Manly?
music. Manly are really not good.
Broncos.
They've won the Manly has won the last 3 years straight, round 1, but before the 7 years prior to that, nada. Broncos are second.
Recency
Equal
bias from me.
second. Yeah. You know stuff, but don't remember that much.
Are you going to say Sharks and make us look like dickheads?
Sharks is actually the worst.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're terrible.
Yeah, fair enough.
You-
And I feel like we've played the Raiders like 7 times in the last 10 years in the first round and lost to them, so my pick is
And-
the Raiders.
There it is. Well done.
All right. I was going to go plot twist and say Dolphins. Somehow they managed the previous years. Yeah.
Dolphins have got 1.
Yeah.
So, the Ricky's Raiders have got a fantastic, and I think it's because he tries to emulate the Bellamy style of trying to be up and try and stay up with intensity. So, yeah, Raiders are number 1 there after the Storm. They've got 7 of their last 10 years round 1 wins.
Right.
There you go. Well done. And again, it's a draw. Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Congrats.
3 questions and a draw somehow.
Yeah, well done.
Have I told you that I know Darth Raider? Do you know who Darth Raider is?
I don't.
All right, so he's a dude that goes to all the... Well, I think he goes to all the Canberra home games and some away games, but he's dressed in a big green Darth Vader helmet. Have you not seen this guy at any...
No.
All right.
No, that's very impressive. Has it got horns?
No, it's like Darth Vader. Just
It's
pure
just- it's
Darth.
just a
except it's green
Darth,
instead
but
of black.
green.
And he's got like a Raiders cape and stuff on. And full Darth Vader painted green gear.
That is commitment.
Well,
I don't know how I've never seen this. How long has this been going for?
A
Years?
few years at least. Yeah.
So what I would like to know, Stu, is
It's not me, no.
was it just a really good idea that he had to follow through with, or is he actually a fan?
No, he's a very Nutty fan. Nutty in the polite sense of just he's very
Just loves the
keen on it,
Raiders.
yes. But
Was he a Star Wars fan first and then just had to commit to the Raiders because of the pun?
I don't know. He was down there, and maybe the day the pun occurred to him, holy shit, that would have been the best day ever. But yeah,
How quickly can I get some green paint?
yeah. Well, I won't say too much about it then if you guys don't know who he is, but keep an eye out at, if you're watching Raiders on the TV, occasionally they'll go to the crowd for some nut in a Darth Vader costume. So
That's
there you
great.
go.
I will be looking forward to that one.
Is Canberra the team with the most kind of gimmicky foibles?
Gimmicks, yeah.
They've got the clap, they've got the horn, they've got Darth Vader, they've got some other dude, the drum.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, the drum guy.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose they got to keep the crowd up, being that it's,
Cold as fuck.
on occasion -7 in the middle of winter.
Well, indeed.
Maybe they need a blanket guy.
All right. Let's get into our predictions for round 2. We kick off.
Good work.
Knights and Dolphins on Thursday, 13th. Knights and Dolphins. That's at McDonald Jones Stadium. Bit hard to
Dave,
tell,
you want to
isn't
go
it?
first?
Could go either way.
Yeah, I'll confidently put in the Knights in Newcastle.
Yeah. Particularly with the Dylan Brown news. Or could it be upsetting to the camp? Could it be upsetting?
One of the
6 halfbacks they've got.
exactly what I was going to say. One of the
Sorry.
6 halfbacks.
Sorry,
is
Dave.
One of the 6 wingers that's playing at 5'8"
Yeah, exactly.
is going to be upset.
Yeah. I can't pick which one of
Yeah.
you 6 halves I'm going to play. I'm going to put a winger in.
Jackson
Yeah,
Hastings
that's the
goes,
team.
oh, fantastic. I'm down to 7th in line now.
Fletcher
To be
Sharp
fair, though,
was
Sharp
fairly
played
electric.
great.
Yeah,
He did. He was very good.
Yeah. He was Pappenhausen-esque, I would say.
I am going to. Yeah, I'm going to take the Knights 1-12.
Yeah.
And under 24 total match points. Low scorer.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll go 1-12. Oh. Yeah, 1-12. Knights. I mean, maybe they're fucking pumped to have Dylan Brown coming. Maybe they'll go nuts. All right.
I'm going to say no.
Do you reckon KP will be a bit annoyed that some spotlight off him? Or happy? Who's to say? Warriors and Sea Eagles.
I don't think I'm Robinson Crusoe here. I'm going to take the Sea Eagles,
And
I'm going to take them by 13 plus.
it's in New Zealand, if that matters to you.
I'm going to
Nope.
I'm going to pick the Sea Eagles, but I'm going to take whatever the start is for the Warriors. I'll take it.
Yes, yeah, that would be interesting to look at, which I don't have. Yeah, it's hard to say. Oh, should it be contrary? I'm going to go Warriors by 2. How about that?
Wow.
That's all right. Podcast police aren't going to come and rough me up if I get it wrong, are they?
You don't know that.
Well,
I've had a couple of people knock on my door this afternoon after all the tips went up.
Panthers, Roosters. Yeah, by how many? I think is the question.
I think, Cleary will score more off the boot, converting the tries than the Roosters will score together.
Yeah,
That is a great bet.
Yeah.
that would be a good bet. It's their first game at CommBank, their home stadium for the year. I don't think that's going to
Oh,
matter, though, is it?
Is how long till To'o comes back?
This is on Friday, so 4 days.
So he's playing round 2.
He's good.
Okay.
All right.
I'll just have To'o as any time.
All right. Panthers across the
Probably
board.
get $1.10 on that, I reckon.
Yes. Dragons, Rabbits. That's probably
Dragons for me.
I'm actually looking forward to watching this game.
It's going to be good.
I am going to take the Rabbits straight up.
Yeah. I'm going to take the Dragons. I think we've got some spurned South players in the Dragons who might be looking to your Iliases and your Cooks.
Yeah.
Might be looking to prove their worth.
And they showed some signs of life in the second half last week, so yeah, I think Dragons will be good.
Yep. And it's down at Win Stadium. They always go right down there. When they don't have to worry about fans throwing pies at other team supporters. North Queensland and Sharks. A team called the Sharks. Yeah.
So this is your first versus last, and your ladder predictor, Stu?
It is, actually, yeah.
So
We
you know, the
do
Cowboys-
have always a very interesting game against the Cowboys, but I think we've got a little bit of wood over them in the last few years. I think the Sharks by, let's say, 8.
Yeah. I'll be getting a little bit of wood over them as well if that's what happens. Would have been much funnier if I could spit it out first time.
Do you want to say it again and just cut that bit out?
Anywho's, Sharks by 20.
Yep. Sharks by a lot.
Yes.
A great deal.
All right.
All the many.
Raiders and Broncos. This will be another nice one down in Canberra.
Raiders were really solid in their Vegas game, but I think the Broncos are just a level above. Well, several levels above. So, 24-6 Broncos for me.
I think the Broncos will win, but I don't think it'll be by much. I think the Raiders will be strong, and the Bronx have just got to not try and be too much flourish. I think you've got to match them, obviously. But that's that Payne Haas Carrigan up through the middle. And there's no Tarpany.
And did Tarpany get
Yeah,
suspended?
he did. So.
Yeah. Broncos, easy then.
I'm going to take the Broncos 19 plus.
Oof.
19 plus. I like.
Who did you pick for last again, Ben?
The Raiders.
Right. Cool. 19 plus.
Pick the Raiders.
I don't think
That'll
that's
help.
going to happen. Broncos by not so much as that. A foot to.
I just want to have all crosses against my name next week. Have a perfect round of terrible guesses.
Yeah. It would just be question marks like, who are you?
Huh?
What is this? Here we go. Match of the round. Eels and Tigers.
Match of the round. Yeah.
That's at Combank.
Is Appy back for the Tigers?
We're recording this before the team lists come out, so I'm not too sure. I feel that the Eels are shit and will have the added news of Dylan Brown wanting out on top of that.
Yes.
So I can't. Maybe, I don't know. It's so like sometimes that works in their favour and sometimes it doesn't, right? But Tigers.
So you're going to the Tigers,
I'm
Stu?
going Tigers. Yes.
Ben?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Tigers, but I have a question for you both. Is it a case of both sides aren't
Good.
tremendous, so there's going to be a whole heap of points, or is it that both sides, like the Tigers have actually got a bit of something about them with the ball. So
Yeah, they scored one try last week
I get it, but
against a 20% effort Knights.
it's rough.
That's
The,
a tepid take.
Okay.
That is a tepid take. There wasn't a lot of that early on, Dave. You've come out with the 20% Knights talk very late in the pod. Okay, so unders.
Yeah.
Tigers 1 to 12 into unders. So maybe under 43 and a
Yeah,
half.
right.
I'm going to tip the Eels for the second half against Melbourne that they won
Yeah,
for that reason only.
that's fair too. It's just going to be who's going to, out-poo the other. If one team's going to keep, honestly, it might come down to, completing stats. Whoever's going to hold the ball for longest.
But also, I understand what you're saying, Dave, but how can you take that into consideration when Melbourne were up 46-6 at halftime?
Tigers got a standing ovation at halftime for their one try.
Yeah, that should have been in the news headlines as well. Holy shit. What is with the Tigers fans?
They're desperate for
They love
joy.
They
deserve some joy.
Thank you. There's a title I was looking for. Desperate for joy. I mean, yes, but everyone knows about the power of the early crow, right? You don't do it.
And they doubled down with the first half penalty goal as well.
Yeah.
8-0 lead.
Yeah.
Unstoppable.
Dogs and fullbacks.
going to go the Titans.
That's interesting.
If Desi doesn't...
Is that Belmore?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dogs. I'll take the Dogs, and I reckon it'll be the fullbacks love to chuck it around, so I reckon there's going to be some points in this game, even though the Doggies like to tackle heaps of people.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be, I'm going to say 26-20 Dogs.
Wow.
Ooh.
Just because Dave picked the accurate margin doesn't mean you need to up him by picking the exact score and margin.
I think he's right, though.
I just think if we're gonna have a guess, we may as well have a real guess.
We should have staked something on these. They're just getting crazy. All right. Yeah, I would like Titans.
Logically, it's the Dogs.
Yeah.
Logically.
Yeah.
Because they've got the defensive system that they've built for the last 2 years. They've improved their squad again.
Yep.
They looked very good in patches last
Yep.
week. So I'm tipping the Titans.
Yeah, right. And that's the kind of expertise that we started this podcast for. Look, yeah, I would like Gold Coast to win because I have a bit of a soft spot for them, but it will be Bulldogs, I'm very sure.
Is it uniform based?
It's uniform based, location based, and just pluckiness based. You know, they try, those guys, and
they do try.
And I've historically liked their style of play over the years. It's just the style of play isn't kind of conducive to stopping people with the ball and getting them on the ground.
Winning games of rugby league.
Very interested to see what David Fafita looks like this year. Not physically, I mean as a footballer.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say pretty much the same as last year, I would think, unless he's
Like has a bag of
had
spaghetti.
some
I read
cosmetic
something
surgery.
really good today. The question about why isn't Terrell May at the Roosters anymore? He wasn't a Rooster. He didn't uphold the Roosters' values and what it means to be a Rooster.
Right.
But they thought David Fafita did.
Yeah. And
Interesting.
Brandon Smith. That was unkind. Anyway, that's the end of
Back to you, Stu.
that's the end of our podcast for this week. Yeah, thanks very much. Listen, join the Tepid Takes Facebook group and follow our socials. What's the go? Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Join the Tepid Takes Facebook group. We want more people in there, and we want to hear your shit takes. Come on. Thanks very much, fellas.
Come on.
Thank you, fellas. And what's my sign off? Have an NRL of a time.
Yes.
That's outstanding.
All right, that's the last time I'll say that.
Oh,
Today.
no.
No, come on, it's no good. Farewell.
All right, let's workshop it.
This is an Angry Chimp podcast.